press conference for Masters Tokyo. We are kicking off with the first of 4 press conferences that will take place today. For this conference, we are joined by Buzz from DRX, Life from ASE, Haodong from EDG, and Zeta from T1. We'll begin with pre-submitted questions, followed by questions from remote media through Zoom, and then shifting to any on-site media questions. So the first question goes to Haodong from Ganesh at Strafe. This will be the 3rd time EDG will be attending an international event. What did you learn from the previous experiences, and what was the preparation like coming into VCT Masters Tokyo?
首先，第一个问题是问到 EDG 的浩东选手，这也是 EDG 第3次参加到5位7日的国际赛事当中了。想问一下，在你们之前的这样的一个参赛经历当中，你们学习到了什么？以及说为了这一次的东京大师赛，你们有怎样的一个准备呢？
前面2次都是在失败中吸取经验吧。然后我觉得现在的话，吸取了2次失败的经验，这一次应该用上了，得用上了。
Well, we learned a lot from the losses before in the previous 2 times international tournaments. I think with these 2 times, I feel like we've learned a lot and improved a lot as a team in this time's VCT Tokyo.
Thank you. Next question goes to Buzz from Ashir Ahmed at the Spike GG. Your run at the lock-in event was quite surprising. How do you think you have managed to prove yourselves, and how does the team confidence look like for this event?
버즈 선수에게 드리는 질문인데요. 일단 락인 때 굉장히 좋은 모습을 보여줬는데 이번 마스터즈에서는 좀 얼마나 보여줄 수 있는 자신감이 있는지, 좀 어떤 부분들을 기대하고 있는지 궁금합니다.
일단은 뭐 락인 끝나고 나서도 저희가 더 좋은 모습을 보여줄 수 있을 거라고 확신도 들었고, 일단은 이 도쿄 마스터즈 오기 전에 일단은 퍼시픽에서 이제 준우승이라는 한 번의 좌절도 겪었었는데, 그거를 통해서 좀 더 얻은 것도 많고, 이 도쿄 마스터즈 통해서도 저희가 조금 할 게 많거든요. 예, 말씀은 못 드렸는데 보여드릴 것도 엄청 많아가지고 기대하셔도 좋을 것 같아요.
Well, after lock-in, I felt like we could perform better, and losing in the grand finals in APEC, I just felt like it was a wake-up call for us. It hurt, but we were able to take away a lot, learn from it, and there's still a lot of things to be done. Some of the things that I really can't say at the press conference, but we're still kind of trying to build on it, and I'm pretty confident in how we would perform in Masters. I have high expectations for the team.
Thank you. Next question goes to Zeta from Strafe. What was the focus for the team while preparing for VCT Masters Tokyo?
We are preparing for Masters Tokyo about to test our experience for big tournament like international, which is like Tokyo. Like our previous lock-in tournament was not really good, we expected, but for this tournament, I think we prepared pretty well compared to before. So I think we are just looking forward to show up the good fight on this tournament.
Thank you. Next question for Life. Similarly, this is your 2nd time playing an international event, but for the rest of the team, Tokyo will be the first international experience. How did you guys prepare for it?
这个问题给到的是 Life 选手，对于你来讲，这是你的第2次国际舞台的一个表现。那对于可能队伍的其他人来说，这都是他们的第1次国际赛事经验。那想问一下，你们的一个准备情况是什么样子？
我们队这次比赛做了战术的调整和阵容上的换阵。我们也是有在参加这次东京大赛之前有看，就是来这些就像 DRS 这些队伍的录像，对，会有研究。
We definitely had a lot of adjustments in terms of strategy, and we had some roster changes in terms of preparing for this Masters. And before we head to Tokyo, we had a lot of preparations, like go through the videos of different teams that are gonna playing this time in this Masters. So we had a lot of preparation at this international tournament.
Thank you. We will now open the floor to questions from remote media. Please use the Zoom hand raise feature if you'd like to ask a question, and we will call on you. First question goes to Fomos.
Thank you. I speak in Korean. 네, 안녕하세요. 저 버즈 선수와 제타 선수께 각각 질문 드리겠습니다. VCT 퍼시픽 종료 이후에 각각 어떤 부분을 좀 보완을 하셨는지에 대한 이야기를 듣고 싶고요. 그리고 옆에 계시는 각각 첫 경기 상대들에 대한 좀 어떻게 파악하고 첫 경기에 대해서 좀 어떤 모습을 보여주고 싶으신지, 그리고 이번 대회에서의 목표 성적과 포텐셜이 기대되는 팀원을 본인 포함해서 찝어주시면 되겠습니다.
일단은 뭐 저희가 이제 준결승 결승에서 보여드렸다시피 저희의 이제 뭐 약점들이 많이 보였었다고 생각하거든요. 이제 개인적인 것보다는 이제 팀적으로나 이제 뭔가 팀적인 플레이 또 이제 맵 같은 거에서 이제 좀 약점이 보였다고 생각하는데, 일단은 그런 것들에 대해서 오기 전에 확실히 짚고 이제 고치고 왔고요. 일단은 저희 첫 상대는 이제 ASE를 만나게 되는데, 이 ASE가 이제 중국 팀인데 이제 저희가 중국 팀이랑 스크림을 많이 했었거든요. 그래서 서로를 잘 알기도 하고 이제 굉장히 잘하고 이제 개개인적으로 피지컬이 뛰어난 팀이라고 생각을 하기 때문에 방심을 절대 하면 안 된다고 생각을 하고 있고, 일단은 상대가 국제대회 경험이 좀 적기 때문에 그런 거에서 저희가 좀 더 유리하지 않을까 싶습니다.
우선 T1 같은 경우에는 저희가 이제 파시픽 대회를 하면서 저희가 이제 체계적인 부분이나 이제 기본기적인 부분도 손을 많이 봤었고, 그리고 이제 조합에 있어서 저희가 숙련도 같은 이슈가 있었지만 그래도 경기를 치르고 이제 플레이오프를 넘어가면서 점점 더 이제 저희가 가다듬어가지고 조합적으로 좀 더 준비를 많이 한 것 같고, 그리고 이제 작전적으로도 준비를 많이 해서 이제 저희 팀적으로는 아마 조금 더 옛날에 비해서 매끄럽게 이제 성적을 보여주지 않을까 기대하고 있고, 그리고 EDG 같은 경우에는 중국 내에서 이제 1등 팀으로 알고 있는데 EDG랑도 스크림을 해본 적은 있기 때문에 저희가 이제 준비한 대로, 그리고 이제 작전이랑 저희 조합 숙련도를 이제 잘 커버해서 하면은 좋은 모습 이제 보여줄 수 있지 않을까 생각하고 있습니다. 그리고 아마 이번에 저희 팀 내에서 기대해야 되는 선수라고 하면은 아마 제가 이번 어떻게 보면은 제가 퍼시픽 플레이오프에서 좋은 모습을 보여줬기 때문에 아마 제가 한 번 더 좋은 모습을 보여줘야 되지 않을까라고 저 개인적으로 생각하고 있고, 그리고 이제 사야 플레이어라고 생각합니다.
버즈 선수도 팀에서 좀 기대되는 선수? 해줘야 하는 선수?
저요. 제 버즈입니다. 제가 잘해야 될 것 같아요.
Well, the question was, what are your expectations for the Masters, and who do you think would be the key player on your team, and what do you think of your opponents, the first team you're going to play up against in Masters, who's sitting right next to you, and what were you able to improve looking back at how you performed at Pacific? And Buzz's answer was, well, I think DRX exposed our weaknesses in the grand finals. So in terms of the map pools and our play styles as well, so we were able to tweak that a bit coming into Masters. And Attacking Soul Esports, we have scrimmed them before a lot, I would say, and we're pretty familiar with their style. And I know they're individually mechanically strong, and they're strong as a team as well. So it's important to keep our guard up and make sure that we don't underestimate them. And I know that ASC is less experienced compared to us, so I think we have an edge over them in that aspect. And the key player would be me, Buzz. I really need to deliver this time around. And for Zeta, T1, in Pacific, we were able to build on our fundamentals and structure as well. And in the beginning of the season, we weren't really entirely comfortable with our compositions, but we're better prepped and we're well prepped coming into Tokyo. And we have a lot of strategies in our playbook. So I'm pretty confident that we're going to perform better than lock-in. And I mean, EDG, I think I know that they're number one team in China. I've scrimmed them before. I know how they play. But we just need to play our game strats and execute very well, and use our compositions to its maximum potential. And I think the key player for T1 would be me, because I really showed up. I've done a lot for the team in the Pacifics, and I feel like I really need to do that in Tokyo as well. And also Saya would be another player that I expect a lot from.
Thank you. Next question from Brandon at Esports GG.
Thank you. I'll ask this to Hao Dong. We're seeing the inclusion of China in the Valorant Champions Tour much more this year than in the past. So I'd just like to ask you what you would like to see, from China if it does become a full region, in the VCT, and how you think the region would fare if it does get the same support as Americas, EMEA, and Pacific.
这个问题是问到浩东选手。那其实我们也有能看到，在中国的话，五位契约正在以一个非常迅速的一个发展方向正在发展着。那也能看到，有一个非常好的一个前景。所以在你的心目当中，你会觉得说，中国这边什么时候会成为五位契约下一个，就像EMEA、像北美、像包括说亚太这样一个正式的一个赛区？你说你的期待是什么？
什么时候能成为一个赛区，这个我也不知道，需要等官方去公布吧。然后对于以后的期待，肯定就是，游戏肯定在中国发展的越来越好吧。然后对于自己的期待，就是希望能在国际赛事上展现出更好的自己。
Personally, I'm not really sure when China will be a formal region like EMEA, like Americas, like VCT. Probably we have to wait the official announcement. But for expectations in the future, I'm really expecting that Valorant could have a brighter future, have a better development in China. Also, for myself, I hope that I can have a better and very good performance in the international tournaments.
Thank you. Next question from Ryan at Esports ID.
Thank you. Question for EDG and T1. What do you think about the scheduling, especially for Group A, where there will be a one-day difference between your group matches with Navi and NRG? Do you think it will impact the games moving forward in regards of preparation when you guys face each other in the next match?
제타 선수에게 드리는 질문인데요. 이제 T1과 EDG가 속한 그룹이 다른 그룹보다 하루 일찍 경기를 치르잖아요. 이게 나중에 그룹 스테이지가 점점 진행됨에 따라서 좀 준비나 아니면은 뭔가 경기력에 있어서 큰 영향을 줄 것 같은지 궁금합니다.
현재로서는 하루 차이로 그렇게 크게 경기력에 영향을 줄 것 같진 않습니다.
I really don't think that one day would make a huge difference in preparation and how the team performs.
这个问题同时也问到的是浩东选手，因为想问一下你对目前的已经出这样一个赛程的一个看法，就是因为你们今晚同时也是分到了 Group A， 就小组 A 组，然后想问一下，其实你们如果是看到赛程的话，如果要进行第二天的比赛，其实是没有这样的一个休息时间，就是中间是没有这样的一天的一个差异的，所以你会觉得说，这对于你们的一个准备过程会有什么影响？包括说会不会对队伍的一个表现有影响呢？
我觉得对于我们的话，我们首先是备战十分充足的，准备的也很够，然后哪怕比赛接着打，我觉得我们也是可以应对的。
I think for EDG, we are very well prepared. So we had very abundant strategies to play consecutively. So we are not very concerned about this schedule.
Thank you. Next question from Bo Rendezvous.
Hi, this question is for Buzz. During your regular season, you had not used a lot of timeouts until the final hour against Team Secret, and also during the playoffs upper bracket finals against Paper Rex. Was this a decision that Termi had made to kind of test out how the team would be playing without timeouts, or was it some sort of other decision as to why you guys decided to do that?
르 선수에게 드리는 질문인데요. 이제 팀 시크릿전도 그렇고 상위조에서 페이퍼렉스를 플레이오프에서 만났을 때도 그렇고 좀 마지막 순간까지 타임아웃을 잘 부르지 않는 그런 모습이었는데 이게 좀 터미 감독님의 좀 팀이 어떤 식으로 전략을 쓰고 상대가 어떤 식으로 플레이하는지를 좀 지켜보고 또 어떻게 DRX가 이겨나가는지를 보기 위해서인지 아니면 좀 다른 이유가 있는지 궁금합니다.
뭐 그런 이유도 있을 거고 이제 저희가 좀 어처구니 없는 실수로 인해서 조금 밀리는 거여가지고 오히려 더 이제 타임아웃을 안 쓴 거일 수도 있다고 생각하지만 일단은 마스터즈 챔피언스가 일단 메인이고 그 이전에 퍼시픽인데 아무래도 그 전에 저희를 조금 테스트하는 것도 어느 정도 제가 물어보진 않았지만 어느 정도 맞는 것 같고 그런 거에 대해서 저희에게 조금 더 생각하거나 이제 조금 생각할 시간을 조금 주지 않았나 싶습니다. 좀 더 이제 타임아웃 없이 코치 없이도 너희가 할 수 있다라는 그런 믿음을 주시지 않으셨나 생각합니다.
Well, what you said is partly one of the reasons, but I feel like those times when we lost, it was more on us because we were making stupid mistakes, and the timeout wouldn't really help us a lot. And I feel like I didn't really ask Jeremy about it, but I feel like he was really getting us prepped for Masters as well, trying to see if we as a team and the players ourselves can pull through the difficult situations, kind of figure it out on our own. And I think in that aspect, he was kind of putting a lot of faith in us to and gave us time to really reflect and fight for the rounds and trying to come up with the solutions by ourselves.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next question from People's Esports.
Hi, this question is for Life. Life 你好，我是人民电竞马笑。然后我想问一下，就是因为我看到很多欧美解说，因为对你们很不了解，把你们可能战力排的比较后面。那其实你个人也很久没有和国外打比赛了。你通过这几天的训练赛，现在觉得你们战队属于什么样的水平？你们现在目标是什么？
通过最近几天的训练赛，我们应该是处于还是中下游的水平。对，在国际上面的话，对于这一次我们目标是吸取经验，以及线下赛的经验，以及对阵国际其他队伍的一些经验。对。
This question is over to Live. The question is, it feels like a lot of American and European casters, they're not really familiar with ASC, so probably they would set ASC as a kind of not very good on a paper. Personally, you don't seem to play with internationally with the foreign teams a lot for quite a long time. So how would you feel like your team's form right now, and what's your personal goal for this Masters at Tokyo? And Live said that after several streams in this phase, I feel like internationally, I feel like ASC is still a little low mediocre. And as for my goal at this tournament is to absorb and to learn experience from this offline international tournament. And that's probably what we need to perform in this international tournament as well.
下一个问题，伦伦。
可以把这个问题给到 EDG 的肖东选手。刚刚您也说了，这次咱们 EDG 的准备还是比较充分的。之前您的队友刚刚说这次不想一轮游了，那想问一下，这次咱们有没有信心冲击8强呢？
信心是肯定有的，但是还是得看临场的变化吧，还是得看游戏内容吧。
This question is
谢谢。
This question is over to EDG Haodong. I heard that you said that you're very well prepared for this Masters. Also, your teammate Kang Kang said that this time you guys don't want to just play one game and then leave the stage. So are you confident to make it to quarterfinals this time? And Haodong said that definitely yes. this is the answer, but it really depends on what's gonna happen in the formal matches. So it's gonna be a lot of changes.
下一个问题，兔完。
Hello，大家好。然后这个问题是想问到 Live，然后看得出来你今天有些紧张，然后刚刚说了就是对其他队伍有一些战术调整，研究了其他队伍，那有没有比较担心的队伍？然后在比赛当中有没有什么可以让自己放松的方法呢？谢谢。
我们比较担心的对手的话，就会担心遇到像 Fnatic、Team Laker、JX 这种。然后我们有什么方法解除紧张？就是享受比赛，然后吸取经验，主要就是这几个字。对。
This question is over to Life. It seems like you a little bit nervous today. Also, you mentioned about you have some strategic adjustments to other teams, and you had a lot of research on them. Do you have any teams that you have an eye on? Also, do you have some special approaches to release your nerves on stage? And Life's answer is, well, talking about the teams that really we're very wary of. They're going to be Fnatic, Team Liquid, and Dragon X. As for the methods that to release the jitters on stage, we'll probably just enjoy the game and to learn and absorb more experience from that.
Thank you. Next question goes to, our next question is from Arnav at the Spike GG to Buzz. This time Masters is happening in Japan, which means Pacific teams won't have to travel a lot and there will be no jet lag. Do you guys think it will help you guys in the tournament in terms of energy and better preparations?
버즈 선수에게 드리는 질문인데요. 이번 마스터즈는 또 일본에서 펼쳐지는 만큼 비행 시간도 짧고 또 시차도 없잖아요. 그렇기 때문에 좀 이게 한국 팀들한테 좀 더 큰 도움이 될 것 같은지 체력적으로 그리고 좀 경기를 준비하는 데 있어서 도움이 더 될 것 같나요?
일단은 저희가 이제 해외 대회 갈 때는 좀 쉬는 시간도 필요했었고 도착하자마자 좀 시차 적응 때문에 연습을 도착하고 나서 많으면 3, 4일, 적으면 2, 3일 정도 연습을 제대로 못했던 경우가 꽤 있었는데 이번에는 그런 거 없이 그냥 한국에서 하던 거랑 거의 느낌이 똑같았고요. 그래가지고 아무래도 시차 적응을 조금 그 전 대회에서 덜했던 유럽 선수들이나 이제 북미 선수들이 조금 이제 일본 이제 도쿄에 와서 조금 고생하지 않을까 싶긴 합니다.
Well, when we had to travel far, further than Japan, usually for those international tournaments, we needed some days to adjust to the new country and get over the jet lag. So we weren't able to really practice for 3 or 4 days at most, or maybe 2 to 3 days at the least. But coming into Japan this time around, it was easier for us because obviously there's no jet lag, and it felt like we were kind of preparing for this match in Korea as well. So it's a super familiar place to be in. And I feel like it does give us an edge over other European or America's team because now they need to get used to traveling a long distance and kind of adjusting to the new time zone. So yeah, definitely it's going to be good for us.
Thank you. Next question from Elizabeth at the Score Esports.
Hi, I'm actually asking this on behalf of Sergey from VLR. He's unable to raise his hand due to some tech difficulties. He wants to ask Zeta. T1 had somewhat of a shift in form heading into late 2022 and early 2023 in comparison to the end of playoffs. How has it been getting to become the IGL for the team, filling in for the role that Munchkin previously held?
Compared to before, like Lakin, we just like shifted our IGL role to Munchkin to me. And then I think our main team problem was back then we just like didn't have much of structure we made, and then we didn't have much of like a methodical way to finish the round like easily to our like other advantages. So with me IGLing, we trying to like figure out those things, and then we're trying to set our strategy, and then like fundamentals issues and like structure and the role distribution. So we just like figure it out so far at least, and then yeah, like I'm more comfortable like compared to the locking tournament systems of ours, and then we just can play our team game a lot better compared to before. Yeah,
All right, thank you so much, and best of luck, Zeta.
thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions in the room? Alrighty. Roxy.
下一个问题，大电竞。
你好，你好，这里是大电竞，想问一下，EDG 的高中选手，你们的第一轮的对手是 T1 嘛？然后，T1 的队员里，你们最警惕的选手是哪一位？然后理由是什么？谢谢。
比较警惕的选手，一个是有两个吧，一个是 Side Player，还有一个是 Munchkin。因为我感觉 Side Player 的瞄准比较出色吧，然后再加上 Munchkin 的打法比较激进一点，需要多加小心。我只能说。
This question is over to Haodong. You're facing against T1 in the first round of matches, and so among all the players from T1, which player is the one that you're most wary of, and what's the reason? Haodong said that probably will be Saya player and Munchkin because Saya player has a really excellent aiming skill. Also, Munchkin is a really aggressive player, so definitely we should keep an eye on him.
Thank you very much. We are at time, unfortunately, so that will be our last question. Thank you very much for joining us for the first press conference. We'll be back with the next one shortly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Masters Tokyo pre-event press conference. For the second conference, we are joined by Mr. Faline of Foot Esports, Ethan from Evil Geniuses, Finesse from NRG, and Angel from Navi. We'll begin with pre-submitted questions first. For our remote media members, we'll be transitioning to you next, and you are welcome to begin queuing via the Zoom hand raise feature in the meantime. First question goes to Finesse from Ashir at the Spike GG. Coming into the event, what do you believe was the team's biggest challenge, and what have you done to overcome it?
Just making the event to begin with was very difficult considering our region's full of a lot of good teams, and starting off 1-3, that was probably the biggest challenge to be able to overcome that, make it to playoffs, and then also getting into playoffs and then losing in the first round to go down into lowers and then have to make it all the way back from lowers into the upper bracket and, you know, eventually make the final and make Tokyo. I would say just those hurdles of consistently dropping down and then having to come back would be the most difficult thing. And as far as what we did to come back from it, we're a very resilient team. I feel like we always have been, at least at our core. And it took a while for us to adjust as a team with having Artis and Sam on the team. But over time, we kind of gained that chemistry and were able to pull it together.
Thank you. Next question goes to Ethan from Strafe. Evil Geniuses had one of the most amazing season comebacks. What do you think was the turning point for EG?
Yeah, I think Demon One coming in was a big addition. Definitely helped the team out a lot, and I think we were definitely had a slow start, but we figured out our system towards the end, and I think that really showed.
Thank you. Next question goes to Mr. Faline from the Spike GG. After an unfortunate end to VCT lock-in, how do you feel coming into Masters Tokyo, especially being the sole representatives from Turkey?
Well, at the look-in, we just, I don't know, those 100 matches so hard because we to it. But for, I think on EMEA, we just, I don't know, like in maybe 2 weeks, in 2 weeks, we just played a lot good as a team right now. And on the players, I think we just, I don't know, show ourselves how we are good and how we just keep what are we going to do right now. I think we show them on Masters right now, yeah.
Thank you. Next question for Angel from Strafe. What was the biggest concern addressed after the VCT EMEA playoffs? What was the focus on while preparing for VCT Masters Tokyo?
Our main goal was to find the proper style we want to go with to this tournament, simplify all the things and just fix the mistakes we did in playoffs.
Thank you. We will now open the floor for questions from remote media. Please use the Zoom hand raise feature if you'd like to ask a question. First question from Elizabeth at the Score Esports.
Hi, my question is for Ethan. It was looking like Demon One would be unable to attend Masters Tokyo, and then surprising the whole community, he is here, ready to compete. Kind of a two-parter question. One, what was the plan for when it seemed like Demon One would not be able to compete? And two, when was it clear and confirmed for the team that the roster would be complete and competing with Demon One?
Yep. To answer your first part, we would have used our sub, Reformed. He was our sixth man, so that would have been the solution in case he couldn't come. The second one, repeat the second part.
No problem. When was it clear and confirmed for the team that the roster would be complete and competing with Demon One?
Yeah, it was pretty last minute. I think it was like 2 days before we flew out that we found out he could come. So it was, yeah, last minute.
All right, thank you so much and best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question from Brandon Esports GG.
Thank you very much. I'll ask this to Angel. Now, you know, you have CNET on the team, replaced Artis from when you guys were on FPX. First match against NRG, Artis is IGL right next to you there. How do you think they compare, you know, with what you've seen from CNET so far as a part of your team with Artis's past, and how do you think he's performing now as well, if you've been paying any sort of attention to the Americas League?
I would say they're different players, and it took a while for us to rebuild the style we have to play within it. He's definitely more aggressive. He used to play more of a loose style, yeah, a bit different from what we want to play, but I feel like slowly but surely we're coming there where we want to be, and cylinders understand much better how we want him to play, and we understand how to make him play better. So yeah, I feel like we're progressing a lot.
Thank you. Next question from Bo Rendezvous.
Hi, this question is for Mr. Fallen. How has it been bringing foot up from the VRLs to a Masters event? How has being a long-standing roster core helped the team progress?
Well, I think on the beginning of the curve, we just did like a smoker because I just couldn't be in RGL initiative role. I think the captain joins the team right now. We're just much more confident because of that, because everyone just can play the whole roles right now. Everyone has the main roles, so I can be easily RGL the team right now. For the EMEA, we just stick on the plan, because we tried to switch the six man on the second match. Oh, sorry, I think third match. Yeah, I think third match, and it didn't work out so very well. So we just kept the core against on the attack captain. I think this fits us right now. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next question from Ryan at Esports ID.
Thank you. I'll ask the same question as previous session for Navi and NRG. What do you think about the scheduling, especially for Group A, where you guys will have a one-day difference between your group matches with EDG and T1? Do you think it will impact the games moving forward in regards of preparation when you guys face each other in your next match?
No, I think it's fine. It's not the end of the world. We're used to a lot of different schedules from last year as well, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Navi?
It was a question for me also?
Yeah.
I missed it. Can you repeat it, please?
What do you think about the one-day difference between your match and the other match in your group with EDG and T1? Do you think it will impact the next match when you guys face each other?
No, I don't think it matters at all. It's like it's LAN tournament. It's normal scheduling, I would say. You can't make it perfect most of the time, so yeah, everything is fine.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next question from Elizabeth at The Score Esports.
Hi, so this is actually from Najib from ESTNN, who I was unable to ask the question. To Ethan, what were your plans if Demon One couldn't make it to Tokyo? Did you guys practice without him, or did you know beforehand that he would be showing up?
Yeah, so like I said before, we would use Reformed. He was our sixth man that was scheduled to come here anyways. And yeah, I think we practiced with Reformed like 1 or 2 days, just in case Demon One couldn't come.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next question from Bo at Rendezvous.
Hi, this question is for Angel. Could you explain your thought process about using Yoru through the regular season?
The idea is basically to have a flasher on a duelist role. That's it. Like you're just getting extra utility, and you can afford yourself not to use some other agents. Obviously, at this moment, Yoru is too weak for it to play consistently with him, but the idea is simple.
All right, thank you.
Next question from Cecilia at Dot Esports.
Hi, if possible, my question would be for everyone. What are your expectations coming into this tournament?
I'll go first. We don't really have any expectations. We kind of just it went really pretty well in the regular season, not having any expectations. So we're gonna keep it that way.
We're gonna try to win. That's the expectation. Always, at the very least, try to make the final.
I know it's hard to tell. Our goal is to play as best as possible. We're basically the lowest possible seed in this tournament. We're fourth in our region, so yeah, we'll just play our best. Yeah, and obviously with a goal to win.
Yeah, we don't have expectations too, but I think we just have to win you to go to champions right now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question from Commend.
Hi, my question is for FNS.
when you guys, when you played for Optic, you were known for your rematches and how good you were at those. Are there any teams at this tournament that you really want to have a rematch against and take down?
Not off the top of my head. Can't think of anyone I like have that kind of mentality towards, but I would like to be able to play Fnatic because we weren't able to play them all of last year. So that's definitely a team I want to play. But as far as rematches go, I can't really think of a team that like we have to beat or something like that.
Thank you.
Sons of KS Latam. We can't hear you.
Sorry, they hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. My question goes to Angel. Apart from facing old friends, which team do you want to face and in this tournament and why?
I think it would be very cool to play Loud. We didn't play it against them, I think, and they have like pretty unique style of like choosing comps and the style of playing. So yeah, it would be very fun to play against Loud.
Thank you. We will now open up the floor for on-site media questions.
ゲームスパークの岡野と申します。ナビのエンジェル選手に伺います。去年と今年ではフィジカルが強化されて、ファーストデスをすることが少なくなっているように感じます。何か変えたことはあるのでしょうか。また、レギュラーシーズンでは月光や夜を採用するなど、さまざまなことを試していましたが、チームとしての正解を見出すことはできましたでしょうか。
This question goes to Angel. The first one is seems like compared to last year, your physical has strengthened.
Sorry, again.
Your physical has strengthened.
Amy.
Oh, has strengthened. Is there anything else? Have you changed your strategy? Is there anything else that you do differently?
No. Like I'm just looking for a best possible way to like practice, but it's like unending way, I would say.
練習を強化するような形で、常に練習をしているので、そこで違うような形でやろうというふうに努力はしてるんですけれども、これは終わらないプロセスでいつでも続いていくような形でという気持ちで特に変わったことはしていません。You've been playing Gecko and Yoru, as you mentioned earlier. Have you come to a best answer for the team by using these agents?
Yes, I did.
はい、使うことでチームとしての正解を見出すことはできました。
No problem.
Thank you. 他にはないでしょうか。
I had a question for Mr. Fallen and Angel. All of the other regions playing here know that they've already qualified for champs. They've locked that in. Do you think that adds additional pressure to both of your teams?
Of course it does.
Yeah, of course.
And how do you think that's going to impact your play while you're here? Like, are you purely focused on the event right now, or have you always got that thought in the back of your head looking forward?
Like, let's be honest, we're playing on the highest level in Navi against the best teams. A little amount of pressure on top doesn't change anything.
Yeah, so which at the Masters right now, it's going to win the matches right now because it's a top level right now. So everyone's the same level, you see.
I got more.
Yeah.
Go for it. I wanted to ask a follow-up question, Angel, of what you said earlier. You said that you were looking for the style throughout your EMEA playoffs. Did you find the style that you're looking for? Is that still a work in progress as we get to the beginning here in Tokyo?
I would say we found a style which is not that crazy as we played in the group stage, like in EMEA. And I think it would fit us much better and gonna be more consistent. But obviously, I'm not gonna go like too deep into it.
Of course. Would artists have let you get away with running that much Europe?
No, I don't think so. And maybe it would be good. maybe not. I know it still have 90% win rate for us. So it's hard to tell, you know. We just like lost the most important one.
Sorry, one more question for Mr. Fallen. Uh, unlike FNS, who steals other people's comps and then wins with them, your team plays a variety of different stuff that you kind of, even when you play the compositions that other teams play, you kind of put your own spin on them. Do you tend to look at how other teams run their things, or do you only focus on what your own team comes up with and how your own players like to run stuff?
Well, no, of course we know the other teams how they play, but we just want to show up our game styles for them. If it's not gonna work, then we're just gonna keep understated. That's it.
Thank you. Are there any other questions in the room? Yep, we have another one.
It's Ryo-san from Japanese media. I'm not good at English, but okay. What of you guys I gonna asking. How's your stay so far? Also, if you play, all of you.
All of you.
Okay. Also, have you played in competitive in Japanese server, or so? If you so, how's your how you feel about the Japanese player? Please, all of you.
Yeah, I'll answer. I flew out a little late, so I've only been here 2 days, but it's definitely very hot. Kind of like Texas back home, so it's not too unfamiliar. But haven't played any ranked yet. Scrims are good. Played a lot of the Japanese teams, Korean teams, and their style is kind of it's similar to how it was last year. It hasn't changed too much.
Yeah, the people are really nice here. It's one thing I noticed. Very polite. So that's outside the game. As far as ranked and stuff, I don't play that, so I don't know how it is ranked. As far as the teams go, very different to how they are in North America in terms of comps. But besides that, the style is pretty much the same.
I really like Japan. Everything is so different. People are very polite. Yeah, I agree with finesse, and in general, like Japan is very unique country. I would say. I enjoy like Fortunately, we had the time yesterday to walk around the city a bit, and I really enjoyed like the places, like all the buildings around. Like everything was very beautiful and very different from what I used to. Yeah, I didn't play rank, and unfortunately, didn't have time for it. So yeah, can't say. But in general, like Japanese style is like a mix of like some YOLO plays and structure. So I really liked it.
Well, Ivanka, this is so different from the EMEA right now. I just had a lot of fun. And like they said before, the people is just absent me right now. And like 2 days, I just get lost 2 times on Akihabara, I guess. There's so much words. I don't know, there's signs everywhere, but yeah, this city is so nice.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions in the room? All right, that concludes our second press conference. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back shortly.
Thank you.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to the Masters Tokyo pre-event press conference. We are joined today by Nats from TL, Boaster from Fnatic, Forsaken from Paper Rex, and Sadak from Loud. We will start the press conference with some pre-submitted questions. So first question goes to Boaster from Ashir at the Spike GG. Does winning lock-in and then placing second in the EMEA League add extra pressure to perform extraordinarily at the event? And if so, how are you navigating it?
No, I don't think we have any pressure. We're just kind of enjoying the atmosphere within the team, and that just so happens to have us winning as well. So, well, until the last game versus this guy, but yeah, we're just kind of enjoying the moment and the process, and we're just trying to get better and improve. And if that means that we're going to win this event, then we're going to be very happy over here at Fnatic. But we'll play it day by day, game by game.
Thank you. Next question goes to Sadak from the Spike GG. After competing through the Americas League and exacting dominance over the rest of the teams, how prepared do you feel to take on the best in the world?
I think we're feeling really good after winning the VCT. We still have a lot to improve for sure because the games were, even though we won 3-0, it was really close. Yeah, we'll just keep preparing, keep practicing, and giving our best.
I think what you need to do is play Chamber on every map because on Bind you were kind of owning it. We watched it.
I agree 100%.
Right, thank you. We will now switch over to remote media. If you have questions for our players here, please use the Zoom hand raise feature. First question goes to Bo from Rendezvous.
Hi, this question is for Saha. How has it been seeing your team change the entire meta in Valorant currently with Viper and Harbor? And do you think that these other teams understand it as well as you do, or is there more to be shown with the comp?
I think we did a pretty good job after the meta changes for sure. We had some really good ideas and people adapted really well. I think right now there's a lot of people that have used it really well. The composition even better than us. Yeah, it's part of the game. Like we invented it doesn't mean we are the best at it, right? So we're still working on it and trying to be better.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next question goes to Elizabeth from the Sport Esports.
Hi, this question is for Forsaken. Paper Thin, a commentator, said on Reddit 11 days ago that he heard behind the scenes after finals that you made most of the calls. A media outlet also points to you being the IGL. However, a few weeks back, Device said on the broadcast that despite rumors that he was the shot caller, it's primarily duelists who call and it's a bit more of a shared role. Can you provide any clarity on who has the role of in-game leader and if there is no dedicated person who calls when?
To be honest, in my team, everyone called, but on the grand finals before against CRX, like mostly like map bind because on map bind I made a lot of like strategy. Like strategy for my team. So mostly I called on map bind and the rest I still calls, but like I still call on like early round. So like mid round, maybe like Dabai will take the call or like the duelist. So
For moving forward in this event, will you be calling?
I mean, I'll say I will be calling because every time I talk a lot, my coach said if I talk a lot, if I call, I will play better. So I think I will call.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much and good luck.
Thank you. Next question from VLRGG.
All right, thank you. This question is for Forsaken. During the Pacific split, we have seen you switch roles from a primarily duelist to a more flexible role in initiators and sentinels, with something unlikely to join for Tokyo in case if that happened. Will you stay within those two roles with cigarettes, or are you going to switch back to duelists? Thank you.
I would say it depends on the map because we play like either one duelist or two duelists, right? But yeah, actually it just depends on map. But mostly I think if something is not here, I will be taking his role back to duelist. But still depends on map.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next question goes to Rabia from Jinx Esports TV.
Hello everyone. My question is for Boaster. Last time when I had a chat with Kamik, I asked him about the map rotation, like which map he wants to be fixed, and his answer was Pearl. Though Riot took out Icebox from the pool, Pearl has still received a bunch of changes. So my question here is, do you think the new changes deal with the issues the map had? I mean, the opinions are individual, but I just wanted your thoughts on it.
Well, as you know, here at Fnatic, we love Pal. But I'd say, yeah, Coach Minnie and I, we did have a little quick run around together, holding hands, looking at all the new sceneries and all the new changes. I think it does make the map. I think it stops that kind of everyone wanting to do that kind of harbor Viper comp. I think, but honestly, I'm not entirely sure how much of it will change, but it will change the kind of post plant meta, and also being able to kind of hide behind that screens will change how people execute the sites, because beforehand it was like, as long as the left side's clear, all you have to do is nuke everything on the right and take it. So yeah, I think it's some big changes. Who knows what you might see from Fnatic? Maybe we start whipping it out. Yeah, I'm talking about Pearl. Yeah, yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much and good luck for the tournament.
Thanks. Cheers.
Thank you. Next question goes to People's Esports.
Also, you have a lot of fans, and whenever I search parent videos on Bilibili, posts of singing always pop up. One simple question: do you prepare to get more?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I heard on Bilibili when I do the Chinese songs, when I do a little sing song. Yeah, I've got loads. I guess on to be fair, my Spotify playlist is just Mando Pop, and it's just like, oh, if I like that, I'll add it to my my proper playlist, and then I just kind of spam listen. I've got a few lined up for after Tokyo, and I'm trying to also prepare like a Japanese song as well, but it's a bit harder because I don't know Japanese as well, so it takes me a bit longer to learn them. But yeah, it's just something I like doing. I like singing, and it just so happens to there's a lot of songs I like there as well, so it's like a match made in heaven.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question from Ryan at Esports ID.
Thank you. Question for Team Liquid. Do you think being number one EMEA team will add extra pressure for you in the playoffs? And also, with the champion spot for EMEA, this haven't been decided yet. I mean, there is 4 teams in EMEA. Do you think that the other 2 EMEA teams in groups will make it to the playoffs? And what are your expectations for them?
So about winning the EMEA, I don't think it's going to create a lot of pressure on us. It gives us a confidence now after the lock-in. So we prove to ourselves, we prove to everyone that we can play better game by game. We show to everyone that we're not the team that who just you can win without any chances. So about the team, I think Boster is gonna agree with me. So yeah, if I would be happy if both of the teams will go to the playoffs, but if someone accidentally will lose, yeah, 3 of us will go to the champs. But yeah, I wish good luck to everyone. I hope everyone will show a great performance. If both of them will qualify to the playoffs, we're gonna fight for that spots to the champs.
I hope one of them loses, just to make life easier. You know, like we don't want to do blooming the playoffs whilst also thinking about champions. It would just be nice to think about the Tokyo Masters.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question from, sorry, I'm going to say this really awkwardly. Nalali Hardware Views Latam.
Hello. My question is for Poster. So we know that this master has a great level. So I would like to know, as an AGL, which team of this master do you consider the most difficult to read, and how you prepare yourselves to give a good performance in this role?
Mm. Um, well, first off, it's a shame Leviathan didn't manage to make it, but that's how it goes with competition. But here, which team do I find the hardest to read? Honestly, I think it's Fnatic. I don't know what we're doing nowadays. No, I'm trying to think. I guess like every team has their own play styles, and some play styles work better against us, and other play styles don't work as well against us. Obviously, with our roster now, we have more consistency against both. I know for a fact Leo wants to play Paper X to get his revenge because he's been talking about it for the past few months here. But I guess the hardest to read. Yeah, I actually don't. Not in an egotistical way, but I don't think anyone's super hard to read. Just because it's the way kind of Valorant is set out. Like you can find easier reads based on utility and where agents are. So then you're like, oh, they're doing this, I guess potentially. But some teams like to mix it up, and those teams are the scarier ones, I'd say. The ones that have that kind of deep playbook. Yeah.
Thank you. Good luck in the competition.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question for Sons of KS Latam.
Thank you very much. Can I ask my question to Sadak in Spanish?
Yes.
Muchas gracias. Hola Sadak, vienes de una muy buena racha del VCT Américas y la última vez que te enfrentaste con Fnatic fue en el Lock King de Brasil. ¿Crees que escuchando sus respuestas en esta conferencia el resultado vaya a ser diferente?
Realmente es difícil de decir porque, bueno, pueden pasar muchas cosas en el torneo. Me gustaría decir que sí, que si nos enfrentamos a ellos vamos a poder ganar en el futuro, pero realmente no lo sé. Tenemos que esperar y ver.
Muito obrigado por responder.
Gracias.
Thank you. Next question from Kamed.
Hi there. My question is for Forsaken. I was just wondering, with Benkai sadly not playing in this tournament, is there anyone lined up to take over the walkout duties?
I would say maybe not because I think only Benkai can do that. Unlucky. So I think.
True. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question from Brandon Esports GG.
Thank you, Amasis to Sadak. It was an incredible year coming off of, the Champions victory last year and now already qualifying for Champions this year after winning VCT Americas, not having to worry about that spot later on. Do you feel like being on cruise control at all, or are you taking every game kind of as seriously as you would, if you still had to qualify for Champions?
I mean, we're taking every game seriously. Of course, it is a relief knowing that we are qualified for champions. Like every tournament is a tournament, right? Like we're gonna give it our best and try to win, try to have fun and to learn here to get to champions the best way possible. So yeah, it is a relief, but at the same time, we are taking it really seriously.
Thank you. Next question from Elizabeth at the Sport Esports.
Hi, my question is actually from Najib from ESTNN for Forsaken. So I'm asking this on behalf of them. Can you give us some background behind the decision to bench Benkai, especially considering something may be late to arrive in Tokyo?
To be honest, we decided to bench Benkai, and it was team and our coach decision as well, and it's because of a role clash as well. But I don't know much detail. If you want to know about like the details, I think you can ask Alex, our coach, in the next conference. Yeah, so that's why we decided to bench Benkai.
All right, thank you so much.
We can make it easier. We can just say bench Kai.
Bench.
It's like
True. Good call, Buster. Good call.
Thank you. Next question from Renato.
Hi, my question is for Sadak. Can I do it in Spanish?
Yes.
¿Qué tal, Sadak? Bueno, mi pregunta es básicamente sobre, hubieron ciertas dudas con la otra al principio del año por todos los cambios que hubo en el roster, pero ya en este punto creo que han demostrado que son de los mejores equipos del mundo sin duda alguna. Y tú siendo parte importante, ya no solo de este roster, sino del equipo del año pasado, ¿qué crees que es lo que ha permitido que Loud continúe con esta línea ascendente y pues siga teniendo unos buenos resultados, ¿no? A pesar del cambio de roster.
Yo creo que fueron muchas cosas diferentes, no, no podría decir que fue una con precisión, creo que fue muchísimo, primero los chicos son muy talentosos, también trabajamos muchísimo y hay un muy buen ambiente, entonces quizás todo eso junto hizo que tengamos unos buenos resultados. Así que quizás si continuamos con esa fórmula vamos a llegar más lejos, así que creo que diría que es eso.
Thank you. Next question from
Gracias.
next question from Diego at Hardware Reviews Latam.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm gonna ask to Sadak, and I prefer he if you can respond in Spanish. I only want to know if what is the advice then you can give to all the people that actually is giving to see the BTC from Latam, the players that actually are practice and training a lot to be in your level. What do you recommend to him to be in your position? Because you are at this moment you are the most player actually Latam follow you. So it's interesting to them to understand how to be like you because you are a pro. Thank you.
Yo diría que para la gente que me admira, que quiere llegar a la posición en la que estoy, diría que es mucho trabajo, mucho sacrificio y lo más importante es eh, tener paciencia y entender a las personas con lo que estás jugando, porque no son herramientas, son personas. Entonces, cuando una persona desarrolla empatía, desarrolla liderazgo, lo más importante para llegar en el top, en el top es mantenerse humano, entender que las personas son difíciles, que el día a día es difícil y tener paciencia y mucha empatía y sacrificio.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question from Bo Rendezvous. Bo, are you there?
Hi, this question is for Nats. You have, of course, stuck with Cypher in the Killjoy meta. Do you think people are sleeping on Cypher, or is it something that fits your skill set better while it's not necessarily better?
Yeah, I think people are not going to start playing Cypher, they're just going to fall asleep instantly. While you're playing towards B side and they're going towards A side 10 times, what you're going to do. But yeah, about Cypher and Killjoy, we already saw Killjoy on the Haven in the grand final. So what happened in the grand final on the Haven? It was... yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah, so we saw already Killjoy won, so might be Killjoy gonna happen next time. But yeah, I still prefer Cypher anyway because I start playing on that agent and I feel more comfortable on that agent. I still think that I can do more. It's anyway a bit different playstyles on that two different agents because on Killjoy you're more fighting, on Cypher you're doing other stuff. But yeah, it's more about what's comfortable or something.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next question from Rabia Jinx Esports TV.
Hello again. My question is for Sadak. You mentioned during the America's final that Les was the IGL against NRG. So my question here is it going to be the case going forward in Masters as well, or was that some sort of experiment that you guys did?
I mean, he wasn't like 100% IGN, and he was helping me with the calls. He was more like a second caller in a way. And I think, yeah, we're gonna keep doing it. We've been doing it for a while, but that was the first time he was IGN in a final, in a really important final. So, and it was really great. So we're gonna just keep doing it for sure.
Great. Thank you so much and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ryan at Esports ID.
Thank you. I will ask question to Forsaken in bahasa Indonesia. Selamat siang, Jason. Setelah berhasil mendapatkan gelar internasional pertama untuk PaperX di VCT Pacific, apakah ini akan menjadi momentum untuk mendapatkan gelar berikutnya? Dan juga apakah ada tekanan tambahan untuk mendapatkan trofi pertama bagi tim region Asia atau Pasifik di level global?
Tentu kalau dibilang momentum, pasti ya, soalnya kita di RX kayak kryptonite kita banget dari dulu kan, nggak pernah menang, dan sekarang kita bisa menang turnamennya. Dan kalau bilang momentum, pasti momentum karena confidence kita naik lagi pas kita menangin turnamen yang di grand final against DRX. Dan tentunya kita bakal try our best buat bisa menangin di token ini dan bisa nambahin slot di Pacific nantinya. So ya.
Terima
kasih.
Thank you. We'll open the floor for on-site media questions now.
質問のある方、ここでお願いします。
ゲームスパークの岡野と申します。フランティックのコスタ選手の質問があります。昨年に続いて半年ぶりの日本はまずどうでしょうか。楽しんでます。
This question is for Boaster. You've been in Japan 6 months ago and you came back now. How do you feel right now?
Yeah, it's great to be back. The last time I was here, I had a lot of fun and I enjoyed it a lot, traveling to some sites, and I plan to do that again after this event. So I'm hoping that we stay in the event till the end. So then it means that the week after I get to spend time. But to be fair, it doesn't matter if we do get knocked out because I'll just have to spend more time and find more sites to see. But that's what I've got scheduled right now. Event and then sightseeing.
戻ってこれてすごく嬉しいです。日本楽しくて前回も観光したんですけれども、今回も観光する予定でいます。ゲームがすべて終わって最終のファイナルの方まで残って、その後に観光するというのが今の予定なんですけれども、もし負けてしまったとしても、観光の時間が伸びるだけだなというふうに思っています。
ココイチには来ましたか。
Did you go to Kokoichi?
Had it the first day.
Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as I got there, I ordered it. Yeah, it was very nice.
とても美味しかったです。
真面目な質問なんですけど、EMEA リーグの準優勝でしたが、どのような反省を生かしてます。
You finished second on the EMEA League. What kind of what is your plan going forward? Finishing second in the EMEA.
I think we had a great run, and I'm kind of happy that we actually did lose before coming, because I was a bit worried that the boys were, like we go into this event without losing. Yeah, it looks great, but some of the wins we had, I thought they should have been losses. So losing in the finals in the way that we did was good. I think it helped with getting ready for this event, and this is the event that matters. No, but yeah,
that's why we're not playing Killed.
He's going back to Saita.
EMEA のリーグで2位になってしまったというのは非常に残念ではあるんですけれども、この大会に来る前に、ずっと勝ったまま来るのではなくて一生負けてきたというのはすごくこの大会にとっていいというふうに捉えています。ちょっと勘違いをしていた部分というのもチームメイトの中で感じられた部分があったので、その負けを糧にこの大会でいい結果を残すということができるのではないかと思っています。
ありがとうございます。
Hi, Sergio here with the Platchat Media Conglomerate. This one's for Nats. You've played with Redgar for years now. How has his calling changed on Liquid, and how much of that has been altered by Safe being in the team as well?
So I would say that his calling changed way different. So how it was in Gambit and now. So in Gambit he was more like as an IGL, and he was doing a lot of mid calls because we were more like listening him in the most of the situations. Now we have a Safe in the team. I also start talking in the mid calling sometimes. So in that case, he is doing the start of the call, and the mid round would call everyone. So like everyone in the team. And also Safe is doing a lot of job on the build list. He's calling all of the builds that he needs. He's calling everything what he wants to take. And that kind of things also allow us to create a more map space and Yeah, so in that case, it's a bit different because in previous team he was doing more stuff. Now he's doing less because teammates is doing more.
Appreciate that. Thank you. This one for Bosa. You said earlier that you'd be happier if one of the other EMEA teams lost in groups.
Damn right.
If you were the dictator of this tournament and you got to craft the script, which team would you pick to lose in groups?
I can't rap both. uh,
So what was it?
yeah. To be fair, I can't choose one because there's players from both that I like. I think just even if they do make it to the playoffs, then so be it. Game on. Let's have a good show. But obviously, yeah, if one of them loses, then nice, good.
There was a lot of talk about on your run, you guys kind of being able to cruise through without having to show too much stuff. We've seen other teams really develop their compositions, change a lot of stuff. Is it safe to say that you're hiding things?
Oh, we've been cooking. We have been cooking. Just you ain't it. Our first game, everyone's gonna be shocked at some of the stuff we're whipping out.
You're gonna be playing Cypher.
No, to be fair, it's just it's funny because people say we don't really change much or add much, but it's just little details that gets missed. We're always kind of mixing up and kind of trying to find how to best play, but you'll just have to wait for our first game and we'll see how it goes.
Thank you. I had a question for Sadak. You said earlier that in terms of teams playing Harbor Viper, you didn't really consider your team like playing it the best. So are there other teams where you appreciate like a certain element of how they play it, or other teams where you've like stolen stuff to add to your own gameplay after they've mirrored the comp that you started?
Well, yeah, for sure. I think EG and NRG are playing it really well. NRG especially in Uber, and EG, even though we defeat them like 13-0, they've been improving a lot on that map, and yeah, we can see like I don't know. I was really surprised the way NRG was playing Harbor on Bind, for example. Like that was really cool. We didn't apply it, but it was a really good idea. That's why I'm saying like they get the concepts and they're applying it in a different way, and that's really interesting.
And one more question for you, Sadak. Could you describe Les as a teammate a little bit? He's not somebody that we, as like the English-speaking audience, have really had too much interaction with. But he's gone from being a rookie that came straight into your team, found success immediately at Masters Reykjavik, and now is developed into one of the veterans of the squad that's helping you lead. So, from your perspective of playing with him right from the beginning of his like Valorant career, can you describe how that development has been for him?
Yeah, for sure. At the beginning, he was a really bad player. He was really bad. Also, he wasn't a leader, but he had a lot of potential, right? And after the changes we had with Sassi and Pancada, he really stepped up. Like he really wanted to show what he learned throughout the year, and he really wanted to lead. He wanted to lead the new young players. I've been teaching him a lot of things, like not about the game, but more about like how to be a leader, how to deal with people, how to improve in that way. He's been doing it great. Like it's not much that you see he does different in the game, but it's more like outside. He helps me a lot with the guys, helps me a lot to maintain the morale of the team. So he's been really helpful throughout the whole year.
Thank you. I've got one question for Forsaken as well, and then I'm finished. But Forsaken, you made a swap halfway through the season, moving from duelist to flex. What was behind that whole pivot? Because prior to that, all the players on your team had talked about how good you were at so many different agents, but all I ever saw you play was Jet and Reyna, and now you're playing everything, literally everything. So what caused the shift?
I mean, I don't know, but I felt like whenever I play like the other agents, like for example, Initiator, Sentinel, it just like I become more and more disciplined. And whenever I play Duelist, it's like my brain is like totally like that. I just shoot people and I don't care, you know. So I like about the game. I really know about the game, how to play, how to like how to say. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like moving to like flex role is new for me and it's really hard. but I'm still like learn to the other pro player as well. I still watch like a lot of like pods from them. I still learn, and yeah, I think I'm just gonna keep the flexible role.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other on-site media questions? All right, well, that will conclude our third press conference. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back shortly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Righty. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We have reached the final press conference, which features coaches from the teams. Today, we're joined by Emil from TL, Minnie from Fnatic, Alex from PaperX, Fraud from Loud, and Doombros from Navi. We will start with pre-submitted questions. So we have one for PaperX Alex from Strafe. PaperX's compositions are pretty aggressive most of the time, and the players play multiple roles. Do you think having a lack of consistency in the roles might hinder the team's performance?
I mean, it's never bothered us before, so I don't think so. Hopefully, like, we just continue what we're doing and it kind of works.
All right, thank you. We will now open the floor for remote media questions. If you have a question, please use the Zoom hand raise feature. First question from Elizabeth at the Score Esports.
Hi, my question's for Alex. Two-parter, very quick first question. Is something going to be at Masters Tokyo? Is that confirmed or not?
Alice, right now I think Riot and all the different government bodies and PaperX, they're doing whatever they can to get into Masters Tokyo. It's looking quite touch and go. We will not know even after our first game. I'm going to assume that he will make it for the first game, but obviously we're hoping that he does.
Okay, and then my second question is, Benkai last played with PaperX on April 15th, where he was swapped out mid-series against DRX. On June 4th, a press statement was released announcing Benkai's benching, crediting a need for roster stability. Beyond your consistent wins after that Benkai stopped playing, what did you see as a large enough improvement that led you to benching your in-game leader?
It wasn't really about them. Sorry, do I answer?
Yeah, what?
Okay. It's like I can hear like background noise.
Oh, sorry.
It wasn't really about the what was the question? It wasn't really about the improvement. It's more like when something joins the team and we're running like a 6-man, 7-man roster kind of thing, it's very hard to actually get like synergy going with the players. You know, even in practice when we're switching around players and stuff, like I tend to see like a drop off in performance. So eventually we had to settle on the playing 5. And since we had to play with something, someone had to go, you know what I mean? And it's more like a role clash kind of issue. Right now, Ben plays Sentinel roles for us, and in his way is Davide and Forsaken. They've both been playing very, very well. So by that, we couldn't really like. I mean, it was kind of a no-brainer that we had to like put him in the back seat for a while. If someone else played like a little bit worse, then maybe we could have considered it again.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much and best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question from Bo Rendezvous.
Hi, this question is for Alex. After the rough start of the season, there was a lot of criticism for PaperX to reinvent their aggressive and off-meta approach. Instead, the team doubled down on their style with something, joining the roster. Was there times where you felt like changing the style of the team, or did you believe in it all the way until it started to prove those critics wrong?
To be perfectly honest, I think Champions Lock-in and the first 4 weeks of Pacific, we didn't really play very aggressive. I think we're trying our best to actually be a little bit more disciplined, a little bit more careful. After losing to DRX, we thought, okay, look, it's not really working for us. I think we need more time to learn. You know, we've learned a lot along the way, playing like a little bit more careful, single duelist, you know, I think we just wanted to go back to like what we know is like comfortable for us. Yeah, that's pretty much what we did.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next question from Adli at VLRGG.
Hi, this question is for Alex once again. So this is going to be a two-parter.
Sure.
A lot of questions today for the first. So Jason mentioned earlier that it's most likely that he will revert back to the duelist role with the absence of something. Does this have been in line with how PRX have been screaming towards the tournament? And the second question is, are you going to be in a more friendlier term with your coaching desk this time around?
So the first question is whether Jason is going to do this, right? Is that the first question?
Yeah, correct. Is this something in line with how the team has been screaming so far?
I think it depends. Like what he said, I think it depends map by map. Some maps, yes, he's going to do this. Some maps, we're trying to figure it out. Yeah, some maps. As for second question, yeah, I'll try to be a bit peaceful this time. I think the stress of getting here, you know, now that we're here, I think I'll take care of the desk.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next question from Cecilia at Dot Esports.
Hello. My question would be for everyone. What are your expectations on your team's performance this master?
To win. To win. To play as good as we can. Not win. Same for me, play as good as we can. To win.
Thank
Thank you. Next question from Ryan at Esports ID.
Thank you. For all coaches, do you think this format where you guys advance to the playoffs early on will affect the team? And you guys will face group stage teams where you'll have already played 2 to 3 matches before, while you guys will play your very first match here in Tokyo. How will this affect the prep or mentality to the team?
I think so. So I think that question gets asked like every time this happens, and I don't think there's a major deal. It just depends on the context of the team at the time. For us personally, we needed the break, and we needed to kind of go over some stuff. So for us, I like the fact that we had a break. If we didn't have a break, we would be pretty full. So it's good.
Kind of with Mini here, us that went to the final, it's good to have a break. But also, I think more in a negative kind of point is they have some more time on the stage. They're more warm. So coming in and playing the first game against a team that's already played on stage sometimes can be a little bit difficult. It's kind of the same thing when you go from like the lower bracket and then you get warmed up to then play the finals. So it's good sometimes to actually play through everything.
Doesn't affect me because we're playing in the group stage. Unfortunately, about that. We've been there before, so we're used to it. I don't think we ever skipped the group stage in an event. I'm pretty sure. So just happy to play a lot of matches. That's it.
I don't really have an opinion, but it's just nice to start in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. It's good to start in the playoffs, but for us, the way we view it too is just extra days of practice, extra days to study our opponent. So regardless if it's on stage or practice, it's just some extra time to prepare for our opponent.
Thank you. Next question from Brandon Esports GG.
Thank you. I'll ask this to the three EMEA coaches. The slot for champions is not guaranteed like it is for the other, leagues. There is a chance that every EMEA team can make it to the playoff bracket. So I'd just like to know your guys' thoughts on that decision and kind of just how do you feel about the possibility of maybe placing well in the league, but still not being guaranteed that champion spot depending on how this tournament plays out.
Right, my manager is here, so obviously it can't be too brutal. But what is the logic in we won the event and then 4 teams go and we're not champions? Like to me, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. We came top 2, we won lock-in, we screwed ourselves by winning lock-in. It doesn't make much sense to me, in my opinion. With that being said, that's Mini outside the server, Mini inside the server is boys, we got a trophy to win. So doesn't affect us in the game, but outside the game, obviously logically, my problem-solving brain is like, that doesn't really make sense. So we're kind of used to it at this point. Like it's been 3 years. We know that the decisions aren't always done in the way that we want them to be done, but it doesn't make any sense to me.
I kind of want to segue on what he said as well. You're coming to this event. The bottom, like the 4th team, will go back and play LCQ pretty much instantly. So you're playing against all the other teams that just had a bunch of practice time. So you're kind of disadvantaged in that as well. So yeah, I feel bad for the team that's gonna be 4th place in EMEA here.
I mean, technically, you could, not saying you're gonna lose, but you could win all of luck and go through the whole league to the final, and then go and play, come 4th, and have to do LCQ as well. Yeah, that's crazy. Yes, can I say? But yeah, it is kind of weird playing on one of us to have a bad run to actually qualify. So.
It's like we're praying for each other to have a good run at lock-in, and now we want each other to lose.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Thank you. Next question from Bo at Rendezvous.
Hi, this question is for Efrod. What lessons did you learn and differences you noticed swapping from working in North America in Valorant to Loud?
Um, Not too much as far as that goes. I just think, my family being from Cuba and just having a similar background to them makes things a lot easier when, uh, the players, the upbringing, the way that they approach the game and everything is very similar to how I was. So, just really grateful and happy to be part of a group of guys that, share the same passion and dedication for what we do. So, just really grateful for that. And the cultures are very similar. So, yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next question from Kamen Rendezvous Podcast.
Hi, I've got a question for Minnie. I think as a viewer, it was quite easy to see Fnatic's run, through Lock-in and the splits quite smooth sailing, and it was all quite easy. But I'm interested to know, were there any like challenges behind the scenes that you kind of had to work through that maybe we didn't see because you were winning so much?
I mean, like, people have that view that like we just sailed through. But that's not how. Like, even if we win the scrim like 20-0, like there's 100 notes for the board to make a mistake. So it's like I never view things like that. If you watch my camera when I'm like the coach cam, like you can see I'm pretty stoic and pretty mad even when we're winning rounds. Like I don't really think about things in a way that's like I want us to be the best Valorant. The best Valorant doesn't mean you've won the round of the game. So I think about things a bit differently. Like I know that outside people are just thinking, oh, I'm just sailing through, but that's not really my approach, me or Boaster's approach. With that being said, what was the next part of the question? Sorry.
Well, that was it really. I was just wondering if there was anything specific that you had to work through.
Outside the server, obviously, we've had visa issues, we've had COVID issues, we've had illnesses. There's been a lot of things out of our control that we've had to deal with and has had a strain on the stuff we've been able to do in game, as well as icebox being removed. So like, obviously quite a few things to battle with that were out of our control, and I'm kind of proud of the team, the boys, for kind of, had earthquakes, I guess, as well. Like, we've been through it all this year, and I think people just from the outside think that like, oh, for now they just win it all, but it's like, it's not always as simple as that, inside or outside. So.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Next question from Sons of KS Latam.
Thank you very much. This question is for everyone. What type of tournament format do you like most? Like the lock-in is the short format, VCT middle format, no, long format, or master format is the little middle format.
Love lock-in.
No, I would say the champions format last year. That's good. All masters format are good if you don't advance to playoffs. Like you just have proper groups and.
I think the regular play, the champs format was good, but I don't know. I don't really care too much. Whatever you hand it to me, I will make it work.
Sure.
I think champions format's good. Also, like it feels like we've had less time between the end of the split and the event this time, which I think is going to show in the way that teams are playing potentially. Like I think that it would be nice if there was a bit more of a break between because we'd see teams advance and develop maybe a little bit more. Yeah, because we had 5 days break and we're already here. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, same for us.
Yeah, been 2 weeks the whole year. I think so.
Muchas gracias por responder.
For me, I think maybe. Oh, sorry. Maybe we can try a new format, maybe something different, So maybe Swiss or something new. I've all the time, we don't really play. I haven't played a Brazilian team before. I think I'd like to try one,
Yeah, I think Swiss would be good as well. But honestly, I do like the format of the league where it's round robin then playoffs. Gives an opportunity for everyone in the tournament to play each other and kind of have a playoff to figure out who's the best team and everyone's competed against each other. So anything that has some sort of round robin or group and then playoffs, I think would be optimal.
Thank you very much for answering.
Thank you. Nalali Hardware Reviews Latam.
Hi, my question is for Fro, and I would like to ask if you could describe in 3 words what we are likely to see from Loud in the competition. What would they be?
guess same old loud. We're gonna just keep doing what we're doing and hopefully, put out a good show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question from Elizabeth, the Sport Esports.
Hi. So once again, I'm asking a question for Najib from ESTNN. This is to Mini. Fnatic enjoyed one of the longest winning streaks in Valorant until the grand final against Liquid. What do you think played the biggest role in that defeat? Was it just an unlucky day?
I think it was just a really long split. We were grinding really hard, and yeah, it just an off day, I think, as well. Like, I think it's just one of those kind of days. We didn't really change all that much that day. My preparation was okay, but it wasn't like I stayed up to 6 in the morning or anything. So I think maybe I could have done a bit better. Maybe we could have treated it a bit differently. We also just took a day off the day before. We've never done that before because we were just so tired. Like when you're going to every event, when you're going deep into events, it's tiring, and like the well-being of the players comes first sometimes. So like we came top 2. That's fine. We didn't win the trophy. That stings, but Tokyo, where is that? So we're gonna focus on Tokyo.
That's right. Thank you so much. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question from Bo Rendezvous.
Hi, this question is for all the coaches, and you guys are from different regions except Doom Bros, Emil, and Mini. So I wanted to quickly ask regarding the Tier 2 system, which teams do you expect to win Ascension, and are there any players you guys have your eyes on?
I can answer for me, Apex, and maybe someone to give an eye out for could be Mystic. I don't know why I'm so careful saying that. Like you're shouting out someone.
I'll say Apex as well, but yeah, I prefer to keep players I have an eye on.
You have to say someone.
No, I don't.
It can be a little bait, you know what I mean?
A free bit.
Okay, maybe Keiko.
Okay.
Let's say Keiko.
Yeah, Apex as well. Obviously, got the 3 Fnatic boys there, so I'm kind of rooting for them. I kind of like. I think I was a bit I downplayed them a little bit at the start of the season just to make sure that they didn't have too much pressure on them. But they've been playing so sick, so I'm like kind of proud of them. As for player, there's so much Turkish talent that it hurts my brain to watch Turkish Valorant right now. Like I think Woot and Sociable have both been pretty solid. Unfortunately, Fireflux. I think Fireflux are sick, but for some reason they just seem to falter at the last moment. So, yeah, try out Turkish Valorant, I guess.
I want to shout out Enzo as well.
Yeah, same.
Enzo's been so good.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, obviously everyone's gonna talk about Kickboard a little bit, but like, he wasn't an IGL really, and he's now become an IGL. So fair play.
Yeah, great guy as well. So.
Yeah, from APAC, I mean, for Pacific, I think honestly, a lot of the Pacific teams thought JDR was gonna do very well in Ascension, but for some reason they didn't qualify. As for player, I think Izu would probably find himself in franchise team soon. Yeah, as for who's winning Ascension in Pacific, it should be Fleet. I think they're the most prepared.
For me, I would say it's kind of tough to choose between M80, Guard, and Union. I think all 3 of those teams are really strong. And as far as players go, big fan of Nismo since he's touching 30, like I am. So, got to give a shout out to all the old school players that are trying to, make it big.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Final remote question from Adli via GG.
Hi. All right. This question is for Doom Bros. We've seen in the past during the EMEA split that Navi have played with a more interesting compositions. What were your background on the decisions with the compositions, and will we see more, let's say, experimentations? Let's say more of a dynamic composition this time around.
So I would say with our compositions, it's always kind of push and pull between me and Angel and the rest of the guys. We tried to experiment to find our style and the way we want to play, but our style is switching up from time to time, depending on opponent or what we feel on that day, I would say. And of course, we won't change that. Like we might go to a little bit safer sometimes. We might not. Depends on who we play and how the meta is looking. Was it another part of the question?
Nope, I think
Or did I
that's
answer your
only it.
question?
Yeah, that answers my question. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions from on-site media?
This question's for Emil. You heard Minnie's response earlier for the biggest reason why he thinks that Fnatic had lost the final, but I wanted to ask you pretty much the same question. What do you think was the biggest reason why Team Liquid was able to win that final compared to the previous bouts that went so clearly the opposite way?
Honestly, I think just the energy at stage, like comparing us and them, it was different. You know, strats, firepower, all of that, it's good. But at the day, we need to perform. We need to come with a certain type of energy, certain type of like willingness to win. And not saying they didn't have it, but we had a lot more energy than them. You know, doing some barking at them, stuff like this, all of that. I think we came just without expectations, without pressure on us, because we had all the pressure on them, right, to win, and we just had fun. And I think we had more fun than what they had. It ultimately led us to the win, in my opinion.
And a thank you. A follow-up question to Minnie as well, just about your run so far. While you were talking about it not exactly being smooth sailing like it looked from the outside, a lot of what you were doing whilst looking like the best team in the world was playing what other teams might describe as off meta. So while everybody else is trending towards, the double controller Sky and the Neon and Jet and stuff on Lotus, you guys are moving the other way with the Raze Fade. And that applies to actually quite a lot of your map pool too. Is that a conscious thing where you're trying to play differently to other teams, or is that your read on what's best currently, or what was best currently?
It's more about our strengths as a team, I think. Like we're with the players we have, I respect that like they're kind of like almost best in slot at the things they do. And we want to make sure that we're kind of keeping that. So like I mean in general harbor just isn't something that suits us that well. Like we've tested it and it works quite well. Like we can pull it out, but it's not across the board something that we've liked on every map. Like Bosa just doesn't like it that much the way it plays. So yeah, it's not like a much deeper than that really, to be honest.
Thank you very much for that. I wanted to talk, Bros. It's going to be your first time, the team's first time playing against NRG, I believe. What's your confidence level coming into that, and what do you think about them as opponents?
I mean, we played against Optic in the past. Obviously, now they stole one of our players, so it's going to be a bit different. But I think we're a pretty similar team to us. It's always exciting to play them. Like they do a lot of. I'm not sure how much anti-stratting they do, but they at least think about the game in a way of like countering your opponents and outcalling them. And Angel is the same, so it's kind of a battle of the minds, a battle of the coaches, battle of senior versus artists. So it's just a fun game. Like I will enjoy it. With that said, I'm confident. Like always, calm and confident.
Thank you. Alex, I have been following Paper X's run pretty intensely, and watching your coach cam is often one of the most entertaining parts about the game. How do you find a balance as a coach between letting your players go with their ideas and with their style and trying to rein them in? Because when I listen to the comms videos, it sounds sometimes like you desperately want to say something, but you realize it's not the time in those timeouts to have that conversation. What are the kind of things running through your head when you coach this team?
Okay, so I think if you listen to the comms videos, I rage a lot in the background. I tend to do that because if I bring it into the comms, the timeout usually is counterproductive. In the past, I think I've been a lot nastier to the players, and I think you can see that they visibly like drop energy. They just try not to make mistakes, and in that case, they tend to mess up a lot more. It's a vicious cycle. So nowadays, I think generally when we get in the timeout phase, it's more like trying to make them more relaxed, trying to make sure that they understand like certain protocols they're supposed to follow, and then just reminding them of what they do good. I try not to harp on mistakes anymore, like almost never. I mean, the round's done, so it's something I learned along the way. Yeah, so we just try and keep it positive, and then usually what happens is they are more, they get more aligned, and then after that we just go in a better attitude next round.
Your team plays very interesting compositions. You're bringing out the Harbour on Ascent, but the Harbour on Bind as well, but you're playing it in such a different way. Can you talk to me a bit about who on the team is in charge of, or who takes charge of crafting compositions that you run that are really unique and different? And those little micro plays that you do, with the weird Harbour walls and the fast sand pushes and all sorts of unusual things that you're clearly not copying from anyone else because no one else is doing it.
All right. So as for who takes charge, I think usually Forsaken is the one that's just running around the server. But they all like they all spend time alone just throwing utility around the places. Then suddenly they call me over and they're like, "Oh, Alex, come look at this. Can we do something with this?" And then I'll just drag them together, and I put them together. It's like, okay, do something. And then as for micro plays, I think we've built that over a long period of time. It's been something we did since the start of the game. So it's a habit for them. They just try always do new things. We focus a lot on creativity rather than watching other people play. But that's not. We have a lot of time spent trying to watch and learning from every single team because everyone here are champions. So we've won their regions and stuff. Um, by and large, I think Jason Forsaken pretty much has a lot of ideas. After that, everyone just chimes in from there, and then we just sort of form. Like, we sort of build it off a base of what Jason is saying. So usually, like if anything's creative with the harbor, it's gonna be Forsaken doing like random walls and asking us what we can do with it. Less.
And then the decision to bench Benkai, was that made before you realized that something was not going to be attending this event? It seems counterproductive to not just return back to your original five if you're not going to be able to run the same roles anyway. So can you walk me through that thought process a little bit?
I think it's more like, okay, so what happens was we tried to play the best five. And in that case, I told Ben, like maybe you gotta try and practice different roles, right? So that you can sub it in case someone is not playing as well as you can. As for TGRS, he's been playing with us a little bit in practice as well. So it just makes more sense for us, like better for unique cohesion, because Ben has been out for a while, since maybe the fifth week of Pacific, and he's been doing his own thing, just getting ready. It's like a good teammate would do, just supporting us from behind the teams. And for this event, I think it's easier for us to work with CJRS in terms of comps rather than Ben. That's the only reason.
Thank you. Frod, you talked a lot about how the players on Loud, you have like a similar culture in terms of your upbringing, despite being in very different places. You've been in a Cuban family in the US, then being in Argentina or Brazil. Do you can you speak a little bit to your background there and what you kind of learned during 1.6 that's helped you be specifically good in this role? It feels like you're uniquely placed with your background and your experience to be an excellent coach for Loud.
Throughout my career, 1.6, it was always kind of a dream of mine to be part of an international team somehow. So it just never really materialized. I was very loyal with Complexity and the boys that I had there. But I was always tempted, especially with like the MIBR and Kogu teams and stuff like that when we had conversations. And honestly, Spanish and Portuguese is very similar, so it didn't really take too much time to figure out the differences between the two languages. And as far as like the way that we approach the game, the way that we focus on our team chemistry, the vibes, the attitudes that we have, the conversations that we have. Obviously, we're very hard on each other and have great conversations, but we're like a family. So I think that the kind of environment that we have is the closest thing that I've ever had to my Complexity days as a player. Just the way that we treat the game, the way we treat each other. So for me, it just seemed like a perfect fit. Obviously, not really knowing too much about every individual. But yeah, I think a lot of it is very similar, especially with just the way that just the outlook that we have on the game and also the kind of respect that we have for each other.
Do you see in any of the players on the team, specifically or as a whole, a reflection of yourself growing up, going through the same kind of things? Obviously, a very different scene in terms of esports in a different game. But is there anybody where you look at them and you feel like they're going through the same kind of stuff that you did on the come up?
A little bit of everyone, especially the rookies who are, putting forth extra effort to be part of a big picture. But when it comes to stuff in the game, I would probably say maybe Aspas, just because we play similar roles, snipers and stuff like that. So for me, I've been able to have a lot of conversations with him just about how to improve his game. And honestly, I would say probably that, just similar, because I had a very aggressive sniping style when I played professionally, and I think that Aspas has developed into one of the best players out there, especially with his aggressive style. So I think just helping him out and empowering him to be the best player he can be is probably the closest similarity.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will wrap up this press conference with a final question from Anton.
Hey, this is a question for Doom Bros and Emil. At a past press conference in Istanbul, you shared that your parents closely follow your games with some jokes on the part of Doom Bros about who the favorite child was.
Right.
Have there been any conversations about how an outcome of a potential match could influence that? Anything you'd be willing to share about the current state of the family group chat?
And I think my mom has a new favorite child. Kind of hurts my heart a little bit.
I won.
Yeah.
I won.
I will see in 2 weeks. Maybe it will change.
So far, it's me.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you, everyone. We made it to the end. The event will kick off tomorrow, 12 p.m. JST, with the first match between Foot Esports and Evil Geniuses. Thank you very much for joining us, and see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless.